Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to Tonight in Bitcoin. Today is October the 6th, 2017. Yes, this is a special show. So remember, buy and hold, people. Having 2020, golden hold, long-term thinking. But we had This Week in Bitcoin earlier today, and there were many technical difficulties. So I'm doing this special show about who's who in Bitcoin, the people that I follow, that I know. Most of them have been on this show before. A list. I've been talking about making this list for a long time. So it will be available on Steemit and at techvault.com eventually. But this is the first iteration of it. It's just, I'm reading some names off that I have written down in no particular order. And off the top of my head, I'm going to describe what these people mean to me. I want to say that later, tomorrow on Saturday, we're probably going to have a random show, not a This Week in Bitcoin, but I'm just going to invite some of the people at whenever I decide to do the show that I list in this list to be on the show. If they're available, they're available. Because to schedule This Week in Bitcoin is a very hard thing. You have to coordinate 4 different people's schedules in different time zones, and then you can have technical difficulties. And we'll get into that tomorrow and everything. But so, tomorrow we're gonna have a special wild card show, most likely. I mean, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm gonna run 11 miles in the morning, and then it'll be great from there. But now I bring you this very special show, and I can see the chat. Pound that like button for the people that are in there right now, and spread the word. And again, this list, these are people that I respect, that I know, and they're not going to be cloud mining people in here. I don't hang with cloud mining people or people who try to tell you to do crazy things with your Bitcoin, get into these strange Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing stuff. No, these are respectable individuals, and I don't agree with all these people all the time. And a lot of them are different in many ways. So let's get right to it. I'm gonna do this standing up. I feel like I want to do this standing up. All right. So who do we got here? Who's for? And remember, no particular order. And all right, Simon Dixon. Simon Dixon has been on the show a number of times. He can talk about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. He's in Hong Kong. He is a really smart guy. He's into the finance side of things. He has a company. What's the name of his company that he? Anyway. What is it called? It's out there in Hong Kong. He is a great guest. I know all of you love him. And again, eventually I'm going to have links below to everyone's Twitter, to everyone's information. Right now, I'm just listing the names in no particular order. So Simon Dixon, you get to be first there. I know a lot of you love Simon Dixon out, and he is always available, like at any time, even though he's in Asia. He just comes on the show. He wants to talk. He wants to share information, and he's never scared. He barrels into some of the more controversial things, and he can change his mind too. He's up for new ideas. Vinny Lingham. Vinny Lingham is originally from South Africa. He's in Silicon Valley now. He started many different companies. I first heard him speak in 2015 when I was in Cape Town, South Africa. Vinny made a lot of great predictions when it came to Bitcoin's price. He's into his ICO now with Civic, and that's an endeavor of his. A very interesting, excluding the ICO part, the Civic, what they're trying to do with identity verification and all that. Not having your ID stolen. He's good. He is a smart guy. He has been on the show before. And he once made a famous surprise appearance in the middle of a This Week in Bitcoin show when the FUD was like rolling high for one of the early versions of one of these attacks on Bitcoin. This was in, I guess this was in March when I was in Portugal. Anyway, a lot, you know, Vinny Lingham is opinionated. He's on Twitter. Yeah, Vinny, you guys know him. All right. Who else here? This is good. This is going to be a long show. Charlie Lee, the legendary Charlie Lee. He's been on the show before. Like the kindest man in cryptocurrency, I think. Very, very polite. I enjoy when he's on the show. He's very relaxed when he's on this show. He came up with Litecoin. He is a Bitcoin fan. And he's not afraid to speak the truth, even if it might, you know, not help Litecoin. A guy I definitely respect a lot. And he's made a surprise appearance on a This Week in Bitcoin show before, too. He's out in Silicon Valley. I guess in Palo Alto. So here's a guy, Jihad Bhandari. Now you're like, Jihad Bhandari, what's he have to do with Bitcoin? He's just some finance dude that you've had on your show before. Well, this is a guy, a finance guy who's in the gold, who he speaks to you. If you're going to be in Bitcoin, you got to understand finance and international stuff and what's going on in India, because India is huge. Now, I've tried to get Jihad Bhandari into Bitcoin. He's been on the show a couple times. Everyone loves him when he's on the show, but he just speaks the truth. He is like the Indian version of Doug Casey, but just more energetic. Jihad spends time in, I think, Singapore and Vancouver, and he travels all around. Yeah, Singapore it is. Anyway, Jihad is awesome. I hope he becomes a Bitcoin guy. He's now, you know, he's mostly a, you know, gold, finances, all this type of stuff guy right now. Now, speaking of people who were gold guys, Andy Hoffman. Oh, Andy Hoffman. He's based in Colorado. And he used to be a huge gold and silver guy, precious metal guy. He's been around the internet, social media for a while, speaking the truth, speaking his opinion. I mean, he's from New York originally, and you can tell. He stands for a lot. He is against the doom porn that is out there now. He's taken a stand against this. Andy is a guy I've been paying attention to since around the time I got into Bitcoin, probably beforehand. And it was just amazing to, you know, get to know him when he got into Bitcoin. I contacted him right away when I saw his first video that was like a little bit pro Bitcoin. And I'm like, my name's Adam Meister. And we hit it off right away. This is in 2016. And it's so good. It just shows when you're in motion what can happen when you're positive. Because he went from a guy that I saw on YouTube who was like untouchable to being my friend. And it's just, he's a good guy, man. And we'll be working together a lot in the future. He's now left his old job with the precious metal stuff and is out on his own doing Bitcoin, talking about gold still and everything, talking about cryptocurrency. Him and Ansel Lindner today totally bailed me out and did the This Week in Bitcoin show, which I thank them a lot for, when all the technical difficulties were going down. So Andy Hoffman is another dude that's out there that you got to love. Tour de Meester. He's a Twitter force to be reckoned with. He's been on the, and of course, Andy's been on the show many times and will be on the show many more times. Tour de Meester. He's out in Texas now. He's from Belgium originally. And Tor is a smart dude. And again, he's rocking the Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. He does make some video appearances and everything like that. He's pro Bitcoin, but he can be a little, he can scare some people because sometimes he's like, you know, he worries. Yeah, but that's humanity. That's being a human and everything. You know, not everyone can be this Adam Meister gung-ho, like, yeah, baby, all the time, get pumped, Bitcoin, yeah. No, he's a smart dude and a guy, a guy to listen to, a guy to pay attention to, and he's taking a stand. He's taking a stand for Bitcoin in this SegWit debate and everything, and he's awesome. So if you're still watching, pound that like button, people. Again, we're going to have links to all these people on the Steemit page, on techvault.com when I put this whole thing together. But this is just the first step. I want to get this all off my chest tonight, make a video, see what all you guys think about it. All right, let's move on here after Tour de Meester. And you know, people, I'm probably going to skip some people by accident. There are some people that aren't included because you know they're trollish people out there. Again, I'm not into. If you trolled me before, no, you're not going to be on this list. And yeah, it's obviously biased toward people who I've interacted with and who've been on this show. But hey, man, that's life. You can make your own list if you want to. All right, so who's right? Oh, next, Doug Casey. Doug Casey's been on the show before. So Doug Casey's been around for a while. I mean, Doug Casey's been around since the 60s, traveling the world. And he kind of inspired me to go to Zimbabwe. I obviously got that offer to go to Zimbabwe too, thanks to the great Tawanda Kembo. We'll get to him soon. But explore Africa, which was a great idea for me. That was almost a year ago now. Doug Casey at first was questioning Bitcoin. Now his newsletter talks all about, and I don't even know if Doug's associated with his newsletter anymore, but it's promoting Bitcoin. He's been on videos talking about Bitcoin. Doug's a perma gold and silver dude, but he's not a hater of Bitcoin. At least he has changed his ways. So Doug Casey's a guy you should know. And yeah, he's getting into the Bitcoin space, and he has been on the show before. Bill Still. Wow, Bill Still's been on the show before. And Bill Still is a finance guy also who is into talking about the Federal Reserve. He's into a lot of things, and he gets into some questionable areas, I guess. But he was down on cryptocurrency. Then he got back into cryptocurrency. So he went through this metamorphosis where he got scammed by the Quark people, or Quark, whatever they're called. But then now he's in the Bitcoin again. Now he's in the Bitcoin. Now, when I did a show with Bill Still, he was still down on Bitcoin. This was, I guess this was in March I did a show with Bill. Bill is located in Washington, D.C., or probably in Northern Virginia, somewhere around there. And I forgot to say, Doug Casey spends a little bit of time in Colorado, in Uruguay, in Argentina. And I like Uruguay, of course, also. I've been there. So yeah, Bill Still, awesome. Michael Krieger, Liberty Blitzkrieg. Not all of you know him. He's out in Colorado. Now, he's a finance guy. He was more into doom porn at one point, and now he's much more positive and like tries to stay away from those dudes. And now he's talking about Bitcoin, and he's just getting more and more into Bitcoin. He's got some really smart tweets about Bitcoin out there. And of course, his blog deals with a lot of different finance things. Michael Krieger is a smart guy, and he definitely has a different take on things than some of your usual guys in the Bitcoin space. So yes, check him out. Now I want to make sure I'm not skipping anyone here because we're going to get into all right. Tone Vays, you all know Tone Vays. Tone Vays is based in New York, and you know, he's familiar with the Wu-Tang Clan. I won't give his specific location. That was a hint. And no one's going to get that, are they? And so I met Tone in Chicago. I've been paying attention to Tone for a while. I mean, the minute I saw him on the World Crypto Network, I knew he was the star of that thing. And he does the technical analysis. And Tone can like be negative too. Like he worries on the air. He shows his natural side. It's awesome. And he makes really smart predictions, and he's been wrong. Sometimes we've all been wrong, okay? People like to get on him. He can battle people on social media. He loves his Twitter. And he's got his own channel, and he's obviously on World Crypto Network. And yeah, you all know Tone Vays, and maybe some of you don't. And a guy, you know, he's a Bitcoin maximalist. I mean, when they came up with the term Bitcoin maximalist, it was Tone Vays, and he's in the dictionary. When you look up Bitcoin maximalist, you see Tone Vays. And man, people like try to superficially make fun of that dude and stuff. No, man, he's filled with testosterone, dude. So you're gonna end up anyway. He is an awesome dude. All right, here's a guy you might remember from some of my earlier days, and I haven't seen him around for a while, but I respect him. And I hope he's all right. He's based out of the West Coast. He's been in Asia before. Bitcoin Globe. Do you guys know Bitcoin Globe? You can check out my archives and see Bitcoin Globe. He really started, you know, I've been talking about 2020 halving for a while. He started talking about it like right after the 2016 halving also. So I'm big into the 2020 halving. Bitcoin Globe, that's, you know, something that he's known for. I hope he's doing all right. I haven't heard from him for a while. And, you know, he's gotten into these cloud mining things and, you know, but I don't know if he's into that stuff. I hope he's not. But he's got a good heart and everything. All right, here's a controversial figure that's been on my show before also. Amanda Johnson's been on the show before. She obviously at one point she had her own cryptocurrency show. It was like the most popular show in cryptocurrency. Now, it was really popular partially because she's a woman, and we all know that. But at least she was a woman into cryptocurrency. Okay, Dash hired her, and I said that was an awesome marketing move, and it was an awesome marketing move. And so people like to hate on her and everything because there are all these people out there that are technical gurus, and she's not a technical guru. They hired her for marketing. That's what she does. She did a good job for them. Dash wouldn't be where they are without Amanda Johnson. Amanda Johnson's been on my show, 3 different times? Those shows get, I mean, amazing amounts of views. And, you know, I think she's a nice person and everything. And I don't know if she's still working. I hear all these rumors she's not working for Dash still. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard from Amanda Johnson for a while, but hey, man, she is a person in cryptocurrency. She's a good person, and so she's been on the show. Got to mention her. All right, Shane, the independent optimist. Now, some of you guys know him from Steemit. He got way into Steemit, and Amanda. I don't know where Amanda's now. By the way, she used to be in New Hampshire, and then she was out west. She's originally from Utah, I think. I think she's got. She might have been a Mormon once. I don't know. Shane is out in Washington State near Seattle. Shane, the independent optimist. He's a great guy. He was in the Steemit for a while. Now he's working on himself. He's been on my show quite a few times. He's a smart guy. He's into designing stuff, and he is working on bettering himself now to become more independent, to become more of an entrepreneur. So hasn't been around for a while because he's really busy. He hasn't been on Steemit for a while. But he's not just in the Steemit. I mean, he's going to be doing some big things. Shane, the independent optimist. So, you know, follow him whatever way you can. Steemit, Twitter, it'll all be listed. Okay, now a guy that I have definitely met in person and spent quite a lot of time with. Lorien Gamaroff of Johannesburg, South Africa. Born in Zimbabwe when it was called Rhodesia still, I believe. And yeah, he's born before 1980. I guess the official switchover was until 1980, maybe 76. You know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Lorien should be, he is like the Andreas Antonopoulos of South Africa. He should be known throughout the entire world. He's a very smart guy, an incredible technical mind he's got, an early adopter of Bitcoin. I think he might have owned Bitcoin in 2010 or something like that. Definitely one of the first people in Africa to own Bitcoin was Lorien Gamaroff. And Lorien and I have hung out in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. I mean, literally, we pounded the pavement together, spreading the word about Bitcoin. I mean, I respect this dude in all ways possible. He should be the superstar of this world of Bitcoin. Now he's got some controversies too, because since he's not in this clique of Americans and North Americans, he's friendlier toward Bcash in some ways. So that's controversial. That's controversial. Okay, you know, but he is a good-hearted, good dude, good father, good husband, good man. And he's out in Johannesburg, and we will meet again. We will see each other. He will be on this show again. He has been on this show before. And who knows? And I want him to be on everybody's show, for God's sakes. He really should be on everybody's show. All right. So here's another guy, an interesting fellow. Ethereum Classic Jerry. Ethereum Classic Jerry's been on the show twice. And he's got a Twitter. He is a smart guy. He values being, no one knows what he looks like. He's very particular when he comes on the show. I'll leave it at that. He's hard to schedule to get on the show. The hardest person to schedule, probably. But Jerry, Ethereum Classic Jerry, and he's really strict in what he believes in. I mean, he's strict. He is set in his ways. But he's a smart guy. It'd be great to get him back on the show. And he believes in Ethereum Classic a lot. So Ethereum Classic Jerry, he is in Asia somewhere. All right. Abraham Cambridge. And by the way, going back to Lorien Gamaroff, first time I met him was the same time I first saw Vinny Lingham, 2015 in Cape Town at the African Bitcoin conference, which was a great thing to go to because I also met Abraham Cambridge there, who is the founder of the Sun Exchange. He's a British man who lives in Cape Town and a very smart guy also who has figured out a way to connect solar panels and Bitcoin, and he's doing great things. He's obviously been on the show before, and he's awesome. Bitcoin Litecoin. He is the truck driver from the Midwest who was going to sell his house for Litecoin. A huge fan of Litecoin. He's been on the show before, and just an awesome guy to get to know. He's pretty hardcore into Litecoin. He sticks to what he believes in. He tells it like it is. Bitcoin Litecoin out in the Midwest of the United States. And again, one day I want to be in that truck with him and screaming and going wild, doing my thing. All right. Who else do we have? Ben of BTC Sessions. BTC Benny. He's out in Calgary. His channel is all about, it gets newbies into it. He knows a lot about the space. He's been on my show plenty of times. He's a great guy, great Canadian. We're starting to get into these Western Canadian dudes. He's not, well, we're going to get into another one in a second. He's representing Calgary beautifully. Benny of the BTC Sessions. Gabriel Scheer. He is a Western Canadian also, but he lives in Chile now. And he's in charge of what's it called down there now? The Gulch. What is it? What's his project where he's getting all these people to move down to Chile? Anyway, he knows a lot about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He is definitely an anarchist type, and he's originally from British Columbia, but is in Chile, and he's an awesome dude doing his settlement down there in Chile. Fort Galt, it's called. I got it confused with something else. Tawanda Kembo. Oh, Tawanda Kembo, the legend of Zimbabwe. Yes. He's in charge of the Bitcoin exchange there. I met him when I was in Zimbabwe. He invited me to speak at his conference last November. Great idea to do. He's been on the show many times. He speaks the truth about what's going on in Zimbabwe in terms of cryptocurrency, a guy you really should get to know. I mean, all these people want to know about Africa and cryptocurrency. I've mentioned some dudes that are in freaking Africa, okay? Get to know who they are. Learn that. I mean, these are the influencers, man. These are the important, the people I consider to be the important people. Tawanda Kembo is the Andreas Antonopoulos of Zimbabwe, plus a lot more. And who else do we have here? Luke, Yes for Motivation. He's in Britain. He's been on the show before. He's a guy that you see around the chat sometimes also. Man, he's passionate about Bitcoin. I like Luke a lot. He's done some things with there's guys out of Austin that I've been on their show before. God, I forgot. He deals with the with Ken and what's the show I've been on? Anyway, Luke is awesome. Yes for Motivation has his own channel. He has some MGTOW ideas too, so you gotta give him a shout out. He hasn't been on the show I was on his show pretty recently. He's been on my show a few times. All right, here's a controversial figure, Tizen. So, okay, Tizen is all about making money from crypto, and he's not ashamed of it. And he's not doing the Bitcoin right now. And a lot of people think Tizen pumps a lot of things up. But let me tell you something. Tizen has been through a lot of things in life. A lot. And, man, that dude probably could win a street brawl with anyone in the Bitcoin space. He's probably the best street brawler in Bitcoin. Like literally, I mean, he could go into the street and like brawl with people, but he's such a nice guy. Now he is now you've got all these channels out there telling people how to trade, telling people how to do this, that, and the other. He was the original by far. Okay, people. So say what you will about Tizen. I've done some videos with Tizen. I've done some videos on his channel. Now, if Tizen is trying to bring down Bitcoin, I don't know if he is. I don't know what he's trying to do now or whatever. But Tizen is a dude, obviously, it's been on the channel before. He's not into, cloud mining. He wants people to be safe with their Bitcoin and their cryptocurrencies. But hey, man, he does trading and stuff, and I don't do that. But again, and thank you for the person who just in the super chat that sent me $5 Australian, Boris the Spider. And we will talk about Australians very, very soon. All right, so Tizen is in Austin, Texas, by the way. And sometimes Tizen is in he's in Atlanta sometimes also. Or maybe he's in Dallas sometimes too. I don't know. He's a Vietnamese. He was born in Vietnam, man. His mom came over here, you know, after the war. He's got some interesting stories, Tizen, I'm sure. And hopefully I'll meet Tizen one day in person. Never met him in person. You know, most of these guys, you know, they're my friends and everything. You can have internet friends. That was something I never used to understand until I got into this space. So, and yeah, all this stuff that I'm talking right now is just coming. I'm not reading this, obviously. These are just, I know who these people are. And when I'm saying where they live and stuff, I just know off the top of my head. I'm good like that. All right. So who do we have here? Alex 14. Alex 14 hasn't been on the show for a while. He's a French Canadian. He's lived in Vancouver pretty recently, and now he's in South America. I can't get a hold of him, but he has his own show. He's into healthy stuff too, and I think working out, and he talks more. I mean, but he's a Bitcoin guy. He's good, and he might do some trading on the side also. Alex 14, if you're out there, man, I'm trying to get you back on the show, dude. All right, and I think he might be in Colombia now. Juan Galt, I think he might have, Juan Galt might be from, originally he might have some Canadian in him and some American. He's in Mexico right now. Maybe not any American, I don't know. But Juan Galt is awesome, man. He's laid back in Mexico. He started, you know, we did a Spanish pilot on here. He was one of the guys that did it. He was recently on my show. You know, he gets into these altcoins and stuff too, but hey, man, and not everyone can be a Bitcoin maximalist. And he likes Dash. So, I mean, that's his prerogative and everything. But Juan Galt, I've been following him like before. I've known him from outside of cryptocurrency too. He's, you know, anarcho-capitalist and stuff. He's a really interesting dude, Juan Galt. All right, here's a guy that might be in the chat now. I don't even know if he's in. Nathan the Fundy AU. All right, this is a dude you've seen on my show. He lives in Perth. Australia. Hung out with him in Perth. He was on my show before then. He has a small channel, but he's a smart dude. And he's like the evolution of Bitcoin because he got into a little bit of cloud mining strangeness, and then he grew out of it. He knew. And he is a smart guy. He is actually from South Africa originally. There are a lot of dudes in Perth that are from South Africa originally. Everyone takes a different approach if you're from South Africa. Lorien stayed. Vinny became a famous dude in Silicon Valley. Nathan and some other dudes went to Australia. So Nathan is a good dude. I will link to his, when the time comes, link to his channel. It should grow. And he definitely, he's trying to advise people in Perth about buying and holding, you know, doing the smart thing. Ansel Lindner out in the Midwest. He's got his own podcast. You guys know his podcast. The Bitcoin and Markets podcast, whatever, you know, yeah, that's what it's called. He's a presence on Twitter also. Awesome dude. He goes out of his way to be on the show. You know, there's some people, they're really hard to get on the show. Ansel is easy to get on the show, and he's a polite dude, but he's a fighter too, man. He will argue on the air with people. He is not, you know, but he calms people down too, like I do. He doesn't get into the BS about, oh, Bitcoin's going to die. I'm worried about this. No, he doesn't play that game. Ansel doesn't play that game, man. He's awesome. And Ansel and I actually are going to be on Vortex's show pretty soon. Dude, I better not skip Vortex. Vortex's name better be on this. Right, I'll just talk about Vortex right now. Vortex is on the World Crypto Network. He's got his own show there on Sunday. He's out on the West Coast. And totally awesome dude, totally easy to get him on the show. Also, he is so positive about Bitcoin. Smart guy technically also. So he's got the technical, and Ansel also knows a lot about technical stuff, my God. So Vortex is keeping it real over on the World Crypto Network. Really a good dude. Hey everybody, pound that like button if you like this show. and you like learning about who's who in Bitcoin. All right. All right, there is a dude out there. You might just know him as Bitcoin or the crypto type. He's got a small channel out there. He's been on the show before. He's a New Yorker originally. He's out there in Orlando. And you know him. He's a straight shooter. He's not into these scams and stuff. He takes his time. He tries to convince his relatives. He's a young dude out there just speaking the truth about Bitcoin. And people like when he hasn't been on the show for a while. I know he's busy with a lot of different things, but you can call him Bitcoin or the crypto type. He changes his name. He's got a real name also. I don't know his real name. All right. Here we got. His videos are good. Gabriel of Venezuela. Oh, what a legend. He brings to this channel the truth about what's going on in Bitcoin in Venezuela. He was also one of the forces behind the Spanish Bitcoin channel, that show that we spun off. And I think they're busy now. I don't know if they've done a video for a while. It's hard to do that. There are more and more Spanish videos popping up. Gabriel and the crew really were originators of it. And Gabriel's so enthusiastic and brave about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and just, man, we'll meet one day. He wants me to come down to Venezuela, and we'll meet one day, hopefully, God willing. But Gabriel's a great, great guy. Hey, by the way, I see 21 Million Club in the chat right now, and don't worry, 21 Million, you're on this list too, man. 21 Million is in Mexico City, actually, I think he's in Mexico City, and obviously Gabriel Venezuela is in Venezuela. 21 Million Club, he's got his own channel. I've tried to get him on the show many times. Our schedules never work out. It doesn't work out. He works at night, and we've had our things, but he is a nice, smart dude that has advised people and he gives me some good information. He's got a good channel. He's bilingual, very, very talented dude. The 21 Million Club, and you can see him on his channel. He is an awesome dude. And I was going to mention him soon, but I see him in the corner of my eye in the chat. He's awesome. Leon Fu, he's part of the Tizen crew also. I believe Leon's in Texas, right? Leon's in Texas. Leon is, he's like Ty. I mean, he's an originator of that stuff, and they're trying to make money. So, but Leon's been on the show before. Yeah, he's a little different than Ty. He's quieter than Ty. But Leon's a smart guy. Joseph of CryptoHWWallet.com. So this guy, he has been on shows before. He's been on my show before. He's been on the World Crypto Network before. He's spreading the word about Trezors, Ledger Nanos. He is an entrepreneur in this space. And, people hadn't even heard of his company a few months ago. It's everywhere now, dude. He was smart. He got in on this storage market. It's important to store your private key to be safe with your Bitcoin. And Joseph, dude, man, CryptoHWWallet.com. You've all heard of it now, man. So good for Joseph. He's a player in this space, and he's an honest man. He's out in California in the Los Angeles area. Who we got? Speaking of the Los Angeles area, Dave Scotese. Now, he's only been on my show once. I've known about him for a while because he was into local Bitcoins, and I was on some newsletter, and, I don't know all the things that Dave gets into. And I probably don't approve of all the things that Dave gets into. He doesn't take anything. I mean, he will battle the government. He got into some issues. He's been in the news. So he's a brave dude. Litmocracy is his blog. And again, he's an interesting guy in Southern California. Interesting dude. That's what I'm going to say. A lot of people haven't heard of him. And again, he's not perfect, obviously. I wouldn't do all the things that he's doing, but someone to check out. Someone, and maybe he will return. And he also has been on the show that I can't think of, the Ken Amaduri's show in Austin, Texas. What is Ken's show called that I've been on? Jeez, I can't. I'm drawing a blank. I can tell you where everybody lives, but I can't think of the name of Ken's show. All right. So and Ken has become much more into Bitcoin and that stuff lately. All right, so we already talked about Vinny and Blake Anderson. Blake Anderson, he's been on the show before, three times, I think, or he made a surprise appearance once during that legendary Vinny show. And Blake Anderson is a very good guy. He's in Minnesota, really smart technically, really smart guy, totally. And he's so smart that he doesn't realize that a lot of people aren't as smart as him. And so sometimes he talks on a very high level that probably confuses a lot of people. But Blake Anderson is a good man, a very good father, a very responsible human being, an awesome dude. Speaking of the World Crypto Network, Thomas Hunt. Thomas Hunt has not been on my show before. A while ago, Thomas invited me to be on the show, and I was not around. That was my opportunity. I mean, I wasn't on his show, but he did. He's a good guy, and he obviously is doing a lot of big things. He was in San Francisco. I believe he's from Sacramento originally. Thomas and I probably don't agree politically. He gets into a lot of liberal things. Do any of you guys catch that stuff when Thomas brings up these liberal, whatever? And you know what? I think Thomas can kind of get stuck in the main. Thomas has got to learn more about MGTOW. I'll just leave it that way. Thomas, research MGTOW, and I think it will change your life. But Thomas Hunt, World Crypto Network, good freaking dude. All right. Look, I got Ansel's name again. And some of this is coming the way this is all. Okay, there's Vortex. Renegade Investor. You guys know the Renegade Investor show. He's out in Britain. He's been on my show a few times. And he's really smart. He's a finance guy. He's like a British version of Andy Hoffman in some ways. It's very interesting. They like each other too. Of course, why not? So yeah, Renegade Investors channel. He'll be on again soon. He's a good guy. Francis Pouliot. All right, I believe Francis is in Montreal. Obviously, he's a French Canadian. Oh man, he was hardcore. You said now we're getting the people who fight for SegWit, who are against, the troublemakers. I mean, Francis speaks his mind against those troublemakers. He was one of the guys wearing the hats, and the user activated soft fork hats. And Francis he's an exciting dude. I think he might be in Toronto sometimes too. I'm getting a little confused. Obviously he's French Canadian, Montreal. All right. We talked about Charlie Lee already, didn't we? Yes, we did. And the crypto type. We talked about that. Okay. There's a lot of names. Okay. Medici. Crypto Medici is a Twitter dude. He's been on the show before. I don't know how hardcore Bitcoin he is now, but I really loved his Twitter. He's a guy to follow. Hasn't been on the show for a little while. He's out in New York. And he does some investing and stuff, but he doesn't get into crazy altcoins or anything like that. Thankfully. All right. Here's a guy. Chase That Coin. Chase That Coin has been around for a while. By the way, the crypto type has also been around for a while. These guys have been that's another reason to bring them up. They've been, and when I say a while, I mean there's so many newbies that come up with these channels and stuff. I don't know these dudes. I don't care for these dudes, but it's like these guys are all about making pretty channels and stuff. But guys like the crypto type and guys like Chase That Coin, I mean, they're hardcore. They've been away. They're not about making things fancy. And Chase That Coin has evolved over time and stuff. He was more into trading and stuff, and he's still into trading and stuff. He's out in New York, man. He's hardcore out in New York. Chase That Coin could probably brawl with Tizen, and he knows Tizen, but Tizen would probably beat him in a fight. I don't know. You'd have to ask them who would win in a street fight between Tizen and Chase That Coin. But I like Chase That Coin. He's been on my show before, and it's been a little while. I haven't heard from him for a while. All right, I don't want to skip anyone. Oh, here's a guy who hasn't been on my show before, but it's been in my chat many times. And a guy, I love his show, Venshin MGTOW. Venshin MGTOW a MGTOW who was into Bitcoin early, tries to convince men going their own way. That's what MGTOW is. Vention has tried to convince so many men to get into Bitcoin. And we all learn lessons from Vention. He's an honest dude. When he makes a mistake, he says he makes a mistake. He wants other men to learn from it. And, he's kind of like, he's an inspiration because through him, I realized, like, you got men got to have to get into Bitcoin. You got to get like Vention. That's your independence right there. And from him, I learned more about this MGTOW, this independence movement. And I'm not saying I'm a MGTOW or whatever, but man, some of the things they believe in, it's some good learning opportunities if you're a man, just being self-sufficient, not relying on the government. I mean, like basics of Bitcoin type of stuff. MGTOW and Bitcoin have a lot in common. And I'd love to get more MGTOWs over here. We do have MGTOWs all the time commenting in the chat comment section. I'd love to have Vention on the show. It's hard to get it together with him. He's got some, he wants to stay private. He's out on the West Coast. I know what state he's in. He said, I'm not even gonna say what state he's in because he says it, but I'm not gonna give anything away. All right, who do we got here? Carlo, IOHK Carlo, Ethereum dude. He's into Ethereum Classic dude, excuse me. Carlo's in New York. He is a pleasure to work with when he's on the show. Really can say a lot, speak about the altcoins and Bitcoin. He's an IOHK guy. He's been in Asia before too. And he's a dude that I know, and pay attention to him. And obviously his stuff will be below eventually. Here's a guy you don't hear much about. I hope he's not making any mistakes out there. Eugene of what's he got, the Bitcoin and Coffee show? He's been on my show before. I don't know where Eugene, I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's located. I want to say the West Coast, but it might be the Midwest. Hey man, he's trying to build up his channel. He's gotten into some of those affiliate link stuff. I hope he's not into that stuff, but I like him. He's got a small channel. Again, he's trying to build it up. He's a sincere dude. I haven't heard from him for a while. All right, Mitchell. Steemit Mitchell. Mitchell, I think he is still the marketing head at Steemit. I met Mitchell when I was in Portugal, when I was in Lisbon. And Mitchell is also from Western Canada originally, from the Vancouver area. And he lives in Lisbon. I met him at the Lisbon Bitcoin meetup when I was in Lisbon, Portugal. Before he worked at Steemit, I was actually talking to him about Steemit. He saw me pull out my Trezor on the streets of Portugal, on the streets of Lisbon. He's like, "What are you doing, dude?" But Mitchell is good. He can rip on some altcoins, man. He can rip on some altcoins. He ripped, but then he likes some altcoins that that are not top tier, to say the least. But he's a good guy, a good marketing guy in the big. There are not enough marketing guys in the Bitcoin, in the cryptocurrency space. Mitchell is one of them. All right, we talked about Simon Dixon, right, already, and Blake Anderson. All right, Kyle J Kemper. Where is Kyle? Kyle is in Canada. And did Kyle came up with the God, I hope I'm not getting Kyle confused with somebody else. No, yeah, I'm not. Kyle's in Ottawa. And Kyle came up with the a mathematical formula to determine if you're if you're one of the world's richest men, if you were one of the world's richest Bitcoin holders, how much Bitcoin would you have to hold, and vice versa. Very interesting. He's a good guy. He's been on the show before. And hopefully he'll be on the guy. I tried to get him on recently, and then he couldn't come on. And anyway, Decred Daniel, who isn't Decred Daniel anymore. He's not with Decred anymore. Very good marketing guy, very good salesman in this space. He's from Alabama originally, and he's awesome. The best salesman in the space, really. Daniel. Formerly Decred Daniel, now just he's got a good Twitter out there, and a good guy to follow. All right, Josh Nussbaum, who is he's in New York City. And Josh is, into the finance aspect of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And he's got a lot of inside information on that VC type of stuff. I thought he was a really good change of pace. Really nice guy. He's been on the show twice now. And definitely, I don't know if everybody gets their taste of finance guys, behind the scene finance guys like him. And it's just, diversify your knowledge with Josh there. All right. Who else do we have? Look at this. And these, I am proud to have had these dudes on my show on This Week in Bitcoin. And it's hard to coordinate all this stuff, man. But it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, meeting all these people, online. And it's been, it's a mind-opening and mind-expanding experience. John Light, he's out there he's a technical guy out in Silicon Valley. I had John on the show because his Twitter was so hardcore, not scared of all these forks and stuff. When we were talking about user-activated soft fork and if SegWit was going to happen, he just straight up said, it's going to happen. Don't panic. Be calm. SegWit won. And he was right. And he's a smart technical guy, but he knows how to communicate also. And I've only had him on the show once. I'd like to have him on again. He's kind of hard to get a hold of sometimes, but he's very busy, obviously. So, John Light. Another guy in Venezuela, Maximo. Maximo was part of the Spanish-speaking crew that did the pilot. Very passionate about Bitcoin, just as Gabriel of Venezuela is. And again, a brave dude. Honor to have dealt with Maximo and Gabriel. And they're giving you guys on the ground information, what's really going on in Venezuela. Not some dude who makes a video who reads a Cointelegraph article that is about Venezuela. No, these are real dudes in Venezuela. That's what I love to bring this to people. I love to meet these. That's why, I've loved all this knowledge of cryptocurrency that I have gained now through the years. And it's through people like this that are really on the ground. All right. Vogelbit, Daniel Vogel, that's his name, right? He's behind the a Mexican crypto Bitcoin exchange. He's been on the show before. He's in Mexico City. He was going to be on the show recently, and then they had the earthquake, so that wasn't too cool for him. And I hope he's all right. I hope he's doing all right. Smart guy, educated by the best schools in America, I believe. I believe he went to an Ivy League school. And he's again, some people from outside of the United States, they're a little bit more open to Bitcoin alternatives. I'll just say that. I think they're going to sell Ripple on his exchange or something like that even. Again, not everyone's going to agree with me 100%. And that's why I bring these people on the show, and that's why I think you should. But he's a very smart guy, Daniel Vogel. All right, Don Gozo out of Malta. We haven't had him on for a while, but Don Gozo is bringing you what's going on in Malta. He's from Ireland originally, though. And he's a funny dude. And when he was on the show, Money Triggs was on the show also. Money Triggs has an infamous Twitter account. He's in Spain. He tells it like it is on Twitter. And on the show, he tells it like it is also. He battles against Ethereum. My God. And against Bcash. My Lord. Money Triggs is a fighter with those dudes. Ken Bozak. Ken Bozak is in southern New Jersey, close to Philadelphia. He's been on my show. I've been on his show. People have tried to hack him. He speaks the truth, man. That dude is not into scammers. He calls out the scammers. He gets too much into the drama and stuff. These drama dudes out there, man. I'm not saying Ken's a drama dude, but he got lured into that drama nonsense of the 80%. And Ken's a young guy, and so he's good. He's got passion. He got hacked. He's back. I haven't heard from him for a little while, but I know he's working his way back. Hopefully, Hopefully, he quit Bitcoin for a while, but well, he got hacked. It was terrible. He got into this weird that BitConnect drama. All those people who get into that stuff. And again, he didn't support BitConnect, but the people that supported it attacked him or something. I don't even know the whole story. I'm not into that drama stuff. But Ken Bozak is a good guy. All right, we talked about Nathan down in Australia. I'm going to skip someone by accident. I'm going to feel so bad. But okay, here's some Australian dudes. When I was in Australia, we had 6 different Australians on the show. I'm going to read off who they are because I just want people in Australia to know these guys. The big dude down there is Martin Davidson, who is in Melbourne, and he's in charge of that Bitcoin establishment down there. They got a really cool office. Martin should be, I mean, he is known worldwide. I think he actually knows Tone. Does Martin know Tone? I don't know. The other dudes that are down there aren't all dudes. They're women, some of them, and so they're not as well known. Adriana is in Sydney. Julia is in Perth. I spoke, she was the one who taped me when I spoke at the Perth event. Julia's great. We've got Igor. Igor is in Brisbane. I didn't meet him when I was in Brisbane. Igor was going to be, again, a guest on the show. And again, they've all been on my show when we were in Australia, these people. Igor is hilarious. I guess he's from the Ukraine originally. He's in Brisbane now, and he'll be on the show again soon. We're trying to get Martin back on the show too. Adam Poulton. Where was Adam Poulton? He was in Tasmania. And he has a group down there. Daniel Wyszynski. He is in Adelaide, right? And he was on the show. So if you're in Australia, there's your Australian people. I'm gonna have a special Australian section. So not everyone's gonna know who those people are, but I need to give Australian, because the Australian community is a world unto itself. They're trying to build themselves, just as the South African community is. I mean, I wish these places would incorporate more. I wish more people knew who Igor was and who Martin Davidson is. And I'm trying to bring those people to the international spotlight here. But again, going back to South Africa, Lorien Gamaroff, woo, baby. I mean, he's a star. Really, he should be the star. And he should be on everybody's show instead of just on my show. All right. So if anybody, World Crypto, Vortex, get him on the show. Get Lorien Gamaroff on your show, man. Again, he doesn't agree with everything we have to say, but all right. Sam Wooters. Where is he? In Belgium? I'm getting Belgium and the Netherlands, all that confused. Typical American Adam Meister. Sam is a technical guy, really smart. He's Bitcoin heavy, but I mean, he'll talk anything. He's really calm. I like his Twitter a lot. Says some smart things on there. Prayant is a Bitcoin guy in India. Speaks the truth about India. He was on my show when I was in Australia. I haven't heard from him for a while. I want to get Prayant on a show with Jihad Bhandari, so they could speak about India together. One from a Bitcoin perspective, one from a more traditional finance perspective. But Prayant has a very good Twitter, and he is like a Bitcoin maximalist. Prayant. I mean, he'll attack. He'll attack. He's good. Prayant is a real young guy too, and I want to get him back on the show. And again, people like to talk about India and Bitcoin. Do they have people from India on their shows, or do they interview for their articles people from India like Prayant? No. I don't know why. It's not hard to find these dudes. Go on Twitter, find them. All right, Samson Mow. That was an honor to get him. It was awesome to have him on the show. User activated soft fork, technical genius, Bitcoin all the way. He battles people on Twitter. My Lord. Samson Mow. Whoa. He's a Node 2X dude. He makes hats. All right, Andreas Antonopoulos hasn't been on my show before. But obviously everyone knows who he is. He has to be mentioned. Great ambassador for Bitcoin. And maybe he'll be on the show one day. You never know. You never know. Arzam Esami. He is from South Africa. And Lorien Gamaroff got me in touch with him. He's been on my show once. I really liked him. He's involved in some organizations in South Africa that deal with Bitcoin. I liked him a lot. He'll be back on the show. And again, he's bringing that South African perspective. And again, there are a lot of guys in South Africa. Aaron Von Weirdum, he is a writer, a good writer. He's been on the show. Is he in the Netherlands or Belgium again? I'm getting confused. Smart guy, great, thorough articles, technical stuff. Whale Panda, a legendary Twitter guy, has not been on my show before. Love to have him on the show. I don't know if he goes on the shows or not. Ari David Paul. Now that dude, he knows about finance. He knows about the Barry Silberts of the world, what's going on. It was a pleasure to have him on the show. I noticed Vortex had him on the show, on his show soon after I had him on the show. So I mean, people are learning about him, not just from Twitter now, or getting him on their shows. So he's a good talker. He's really good, very professional, and he knows about that type of stuff. These funds that are being, and he knows about everything. BTC Joe, he doesn't show. He is a Twitter guy, hilarious Twitter dude. He's a Bitcoin guy, obviously. I loved him when he came on my show. It was hilarious. Jorge of Argentina. All right, so now we're getting back into South America. He called it. He's been on my show before. He's an anarcho-capitalist. He is not the youngest dude in the world. Got a lot of experience. So he's a guy who's not young. He knows Doug Casey. He's done translations for Doug Casey, but he got into Bitcoin. He taught himself Bitcoin. He's in Patagonia down in Argentina, and he brought some really good knowledge to the show. He'll be back on the show on This Week in Bitcoin soon enough. He just talked about how it's, they've had their wealth confiscated in Argentina a number of times in a number of different ways. And he likes Bitcoin because it can't be confiscated. Rocky Palumbo out in Southern California, near Los Angeles, but outside of Los Angeles. Rocky is a tactical guy, a smart guy, a really nice guy. He contacted me a while ago and we became friends online. He's very helpful. He's been on the show a few times. He'll be on the show again. When there's something that pops up that people can be hurt, get their private key stolen, he'll contact me. Just the other day, he got some information on the air right before I got on the air. So Rocky, and he's got his own Bitcoin meetup group out in Southern California. All right, Richard Hart. Oh, he's been on the show before. I don't know where Richard Hart is. He's a smart dude. He's got good video quality. He battles people. He loves Bitcoin. Should I call him a Bitcoin maximalist? He understands these forks are, they're no threats. And I like Richard a lot. And an honest guy, a smart guy. He's on all sorts of social media, and he's about being successful too. He's got a history of some sort where he's become wealthy, I believe, and is entrepreneurial. I don't know his whole story, but he is. I mean, again, I didn't know Richard until he was on World Crypto Network. I don't know if anybody. I mean, he's awesome, very smart dude. Mick Carter is a young guy who's in the DC area, I believe, who I had on the show, who he's into the crypto dividend thing. He's into, he understands that Bitcoin is a productive asset. He writes really intelligent blog pieces. I've mentioned some recently. He'll be back on the show eventually. Young guy, up and coming dude. Follow him. Paul Capistani, technical guy, was out in the Silicon Valley, now is in Northern Virginia. A guy I knew from Baltimore. One of the only guy from the cryptocurrency space that I knew before I was in the cryptocurrency space. And Paul is, I partied with Paul before. He's been at my infamous Linden Avenue house in Baltimore, but he is a smart guy working on, what is he working on? Some lightning network stuff? He's doing some good stuff. So Paul will be back on the show, and he's on Twitter. All right, so we talked about, I don't want to skip anybody. Oh, Mike Tidwell was recently on the show. He's got a good, he's got a show, he's got a podcast. I forgot the name of his podcast. He's out of Atlanta. He's got an Atlanta meetup group. He's pretty hardcore into Bitcoin. When he was on the show, like
He wasn't into altcoins, but to say the least. But he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. And again, oh, here we got a guy from Italy who will be on the show soon, maybe next week. Giacomo Zucco. I really like what Giacomo had to say about friendly forks. He gets the concept of friendly forks, and I'm really looking forward to having him on the show. I can tell he's a good guy, and he's got a good Twitter. Now here's this I forget this dude's real name from real life. At NVK, follow him on Twitter. He's Canadian, I believe. And there's another Andreas out there, Andreas Birkin, who now I believe is in California. He's obviously from Europe originally. He's been in Asia before. It's hard to get on the show, man. Not the easiest guy to get on the show. He hasn't been on the show yet. He writes, he's got a blog, shitcoin.com, I believe it is. He's ripped on some projects. At the same time, I think he's not totally against Bcash. I don't want to put words in the dude's mouth. So he's an interesting guy. And hopefully he'll be on the show soon. And he's difficult to get on the show. Anyway, at LOPP, at LOP. That guy's a technical genius. I'd love to have him on the show. He's got a good Twitter. That's his Twitter. Matthias Trader is out of Argentina. He's a Bitcoin holder. He got a great Twitter. Has done some good Twitter stuff for, I think he was the one who made the compilation video or something. Or he was into when Maximo was talking about the truth about Venezuela. I like Matthias Trader. He's from Buenos Aires. I want to get a Buenos Aires voice on my show, but maybe he's a little shy. I don't know. He's a businessman. He's a holder. Maybe he'll come on. Maybe this will put pressure to get him on the show. Daniel out in Israel, out in Tel Aviv. He's one of the guys from the Blockchain Unchained show out of Israel. I've met him. He hasn't been on the show before, though. I want to get him on the show. They're doing a lot of good things out in Tel Aviv, at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy. He's involved with that. And so he's someone to know if you're in Israel. And we got to get more Israelis. They're doing some good things out there. I'll be in Israel soon, so there will be some Israelis on the air so the world can see what's up in Israel with the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency. Jimmy Song, obviously. Jimmy hasn't been on the show before. I know when I was on the World Crypto Network on Segwit Day, Jimmy and I talked for 1 second or something like that. Everybody was celebrating Segwit. I was on World Crypto Network celebration. I guess I did meet Thomas then too. So Jimmy Song is a very smart guy. He is not afraid of these forks. He's taken a new approach to these forks, and he doesn't say crypto dividend, but he knows he's talked about B Gold. And he can change. He's a smart guy. He changes his mind. I don't agree with everything he's said. I think he's gotten too much into the FUD, and not on purpose, but he just, he can get caught in that stuff. But I like Jimmy Song, and I can be critical of him sometimes too, but I have respect. And he's a smart man. He is a smart man, and no one is perfect. I'm not perfect either. Alistair Milne, I'm far from perfect. Alistair Milne is he in Luxembourg? Or he's in some small European country. Anyway, I've tried to get Alistair Milne. He's got a great Twitter. I've tried to get on the show before. It's hard. I've almost given up. But Alistair, I quote his tweets a lot. He's a guy to know. Beauty on. I just tried to get him on the show. He says he's really busy. He's a Twitter dude. Hopefully one day he'll come on. He's involved with some project now that he's very busy with. But Beauty On's got some great tweets. All right, we talked about yeah. All right. Here's a guy, Ran Nur. He's in South Africa also. He hosts on CNBC the South African cryptocurrency show. Now he is into trading Bitcoin a lot. All right, or trading cryptocurrencies a lot. That's what the show is. It's like a trading show. So I think it's good that he has somehow gotten on TV now throughout Africa to talk about cryptocurrency. So he's a player, man. He's a major player in all this stuff. So he has not been on my show, obviously, but I mean, we got mutual connections. Vinny's been on his show. All the South African guys have been on his show. Every South African person I've mentioned. Oh, you know what? Who hasn't been on the show? You can watch the show online. Again, it can be seen on cable TV all over Africa. So I mean, he could be a game changer in Africa. He really could be. I don't know all the numbers of the people that are watching it and stuff, but Abraham Cambridge hasn't been on the show yet. So Ran, if you're paying attention, get Abraham Cambridge on your show. Although he's not a trader of cryptocurrency, so maybe you won't have him on your show. I don't know. All right. So here's a guy I met in person in Hong Kong, Leonard Weiss. And I guess he's from Germany originally. He's in Hong Kong. He's hardcore Bitcoin. He speaks the truth about Bitcoin. He's got he's got something to do with the Hong Kong Bitcoin meetup, but also he's got a great Twitter. Spencer Bogart of Blockchain Capital, good Twitter guy, obviously doing a lot of finance things behind the scenes. Tried to get him on the show before, and he doesn't have time. Maybe he's a little shy. Who knows what it is? All right. So I probably left people out by accident. Sorry if I left you off by accident. There are people obviously that aren't going to be on the list because they're not worthy to be on the list, man. Those are my people. So we're going to expand this on Steemit at techbalt.com eventually. Everyone's going to get a written summary. Everyone's going to have a link to describe them. The people that I forgot will be listed. New people will be added. But these are the people out there, man. These are people you need to surround yourself with, okay? There's all these other people out there telling you to do crazy things. And just these newbies, Johnny-come-latelys, who will disappear if, God forbid, something happens bad with Bitcoin. And anyway, most of the people out there now are just into all these, the latest flavor of the month, cryptocurrency. These people that I talked about, they stand for something. Most of them are behind Bitcoin. Some of them have gotten into other things, whatever. But these are the people that I hang with, man, that I consider my associates and stuff, okay? So I guess that's giving you a little insight into how I think on a certain level. And again, these are the people I support. You support them too. We'll have some more stuff, more shows here on this channel. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. I hope you enjoy this change of pace. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Pound that like button. I will chat with you guys now.